Two Big Ten football players died in a car crash this morning as they were driving home from a Wisconsin football camp. Nebraska punter Sam Foltz and former Michigan State punter Mike Sadler died in that crash. The third person in the car survived.
There was a curve coming up. I said, "Mike, there's a curve." And that's when it gets kind of spotty. The next thing I remember, we lost control, going to the woods. Then I don't remember anything until I wake up because my leg I could feel like a burning sensation on my leg. I could feel my leg being burnt. And I'm pretty sure that's what saved my life. July 23rd, it was a Saturday.
We were at a kicking camp with a mixture of guys from all across the nation.
There you go, Sam. Snap.
We did some kicks with all the guys, and then a bunch of the older guys, like Mike Sadler and Sam Foltz, stayed and was going on to help with the high school camp.
We do this process where we choose, 5 to 6 camp mentors to come and talk to the kids and explain what the process is like. Sam was one of the guys picked.
My name is Sam Foltz. I'm a senior in Nebraska. I grew up in a town of about 500 people in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. I came to Nebraska to be a starter. I was fortunate enough to win the job as a redshirt freshman, and here I am today.
That night, we all went to one of the coaches' houses that helps run the camp.
We stayed there till probably 10:30, 11.
Drew Meyer was a punter at Wisconsin last season. Sam had told me that I was going to ride with Drew. I was going to stay at his house that night, along with Sam, Mike, and Colby, who were in the other car. They had left, and then me and Drew were just getting ready to leave, and Sam texted me saying, "Hey, have you and Drew left yet?" And I just said no, but I will ride with him. And he said, "Okay, thank God." And that's the last thing that he texted me. Looking back on it is very, very surreal, because that's like him saying, "Thank goodness you're not in the car with me."
I remember trying to take my seatbelt off. I don't remember how I took it off. I don't remember how I got out the car. I don't know what part. I was in the back seat of a coupe, so there was no door to get out of. So from what I heard, people say that I probably got out the back window or through the sunroof. I'm not sure. I don't remember that. The next thing I remember was being on my hands and knees in the mud.
We started calling them, and we got kind of worried because they weren't picking up their phone, and it shouldn't have taken that long.
I remember calling 911 and then going to the hospital. It was still really spotty. Even being at the hospital was super spotty. Me
and Drew decided we were going to go just drive around and see, if there's anything that had happened, if they got pulled over by the police for some reason, or if they had crashed or something. And it took us about, 20 to 30 minutes to drive up on where the police had blocked off the road. We couldn't even see really anything. All they really told us was that Colby, the kicker at LSU, was in the hospital, and they wouldn't tell us about Sam and Mike. So at that point, me and Drew, we didn't really know what to think. When something like that happens, you don't want to think of the worst happening, but it's hard not to think of it. What happened was they went over a hill and hydroplaned off the road and hit a tree, and the car exploded.
I learned about Sam's passing from Drew Brown at 10 o'clock that morning. All the stuff about football was kind of not there, and it was really all about the relationships within a team.
When I got the news this morning, I think I was probably like a lot of people where I was just kind of numb, because that kind of thing doesn't happen to Foltz. Because everyone knows Foltz, and there's something different about him. That he just had a presence about him. There's going to be a hole on our team now, and it's not going to be filled because people like Foltz don't come around often.
thing that made Sam the most special was that he didn't know he was special. The thing that brought us together was being able to talk about farming or going back home or small town roots. Love, support, pride in your community, looking out for each other. That's kind of the Nebraska way.
For most of our college careers, we lived together. It makes me feel incredibly lucky that I was able to meet this kid who would have this profound kind of effect on my life and a profound effect on other people. His legacy isn't folk, it's not faith. What makes Sam unique is he had this uncommon trait in him to make others feel closer to him than they probably actually were.
He was one of my closest friends here. Most people don't really see a punter and a quarterback having a close relationship. But this past summer, we went to Oklahoma and did fishing and hunting.
I want to be, everything that he stood for, everything that he lived by. If I was able to recreate all of that and put it into myself, I'd be more than happy.
Let us stand together. We gather to lift up the soul of Sam Foltz to the promise of the heavenly kingdom.
From the day that Sam was killed, I always said, God has sent people into our day, every day, that have let us know that we are loved. And that's good.
We gather to be a source of support for one another as we grieve the loss of his life.
Everybody has a different reaction, and how long it lasts and how deep it sits is different for each guy.
I know there's a lot of different suggestions out there about how to honor Sam. Somebody said something about, Coach, the first fourth down, that you just line everybody up and don't have a kicker back there and take the penalty.
From the football aspect, quite honestly, I didn't want to be here because it just made me think of Foltz, and it was just so difficult.
Grief is like a fire, and you have to walk right through it. The more you try to skirt it, the more it will control you.